this is how much profit they made. This is the billions they made off of what we provided. And so once that message get out there, then I think people will start to understand, hey, you need to start talking about these workers and not so much of these employers.
The facts, dates, and events presented in this video are from the member's best recollection and may not be fully accurate. This video is intended for entertainment purposes only. Always consult with your local union about your rights and duties at your workplace. The opinions shared on this video are our own and do not necessarily represent my employer's positions, strategies, or opinions. All views shared are protected under the National Labor Relations Act.
What is going on, everybody? So today I have Principal Officer of Local 623 in Philadelphia, Richard Hooker, and we have basically the ILA members are on strike right now, the longshoremen, the dock workers, and I've had some people reach out to me asking me questions about this, and is this going to end up affecting UPS drivers? And also, why are they on strike, and what's with the media? What the spin that they're putting on this, or the half truths that are coming out. So I brought Richard on to help us out with some of these questions. But I guess I'm going to get into a few things. Is that there's about 47,000 members on strike right now, which is going to affect about 60% of the cargo brought into the U.S. and 75% of the bananas. But I gotta throw that in there. So, but I guess the major question, Rich, is that we're talking about 60% of the cargo that's brought in, and we deliver boxes for a living. Is this going to end up affecting us as UPS workers?
So I was asked that same question. So reached out to my counterpart for the company, and I asked him, and he told me that it wouldn't affect UPS workers, but I would suspect that if it was a long strike, it potentially could. How much? I don't know, but as of right now, it shouldn't affect us at all.
Absolutely. And, some people don't realize that a lot of these people knew the strike was coming, so they went ahead and supplied ahead of time in case it gets dragged out. Now, I guess the other question is if it ends up dragging out for like a month, 2 months, and the last strike that happened was in 1977 for 3 months, do you think there would be a problem then?
I'm quite sure it will be. You're talking about any length of time would disrupt the movement of goods and services. And like you said, that's 60% of those goods and services. So it would be a very difficult problem to deal with, especially with the holidays coming up. So, I just hope that, the Biden administration does not interfere with this strike because, listen, he has been, his administration has been the most pro-labor administration that in my lifetime. And so I want him to go out, with that moniker, being the most pro-labor president.
And I guess you were referring to as the Taft-Hartley Act, which can force
Right.
the workers back to work for 90 days for a cooling off period.
Right.
And what some people don't realize is that if they end up going back to work, they're not going back to work happy. And that's a big difference between going back to work with a contract that's been ratified and a contract that's not. So let's get into the other part, because I've been listening to a lot of the news media, the mainstream news media, just giving out. It actually kind of infuriates me because they give this narrative that it's the poor corporation that's being hurt, and you as Americans are going to be footing the bill on these greedy workers. That's the narrative they're trying to spin. Why is that? It doesn't matter who you go, Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, whatever. They always give this spin, and why is that?
Well, most media is there to serve the ruling class, the CEOs, the billionaires and millionaires, and not working everyday class people. And so when you have that, they're always going to spin saying these workers are greedy. They should be happy with what they have. They should be thankful what we're giving them. And what the workers are saying, no, it's the other way around. If we keep our hands in our pockets, you don't make any money. So this is a battle for equality here. And but the media is not going to say that because again, they're there to serve the ruling class. And unfortunately, we have to change our messaging as well. Hey, this is how much profit they made. This is the billions they made off of what we provided. And so once that message get out there, then I think people will start to understand, hey, you need to start talking about these workers and not so much of these employers.
Yeah, it's funny. Whenever you watch one of these mainstream news outlets, they never mention about what the CEOs make. They always talk about what the workers make. And they will give these skewed numbers. And one of the things is, us as UPS drivers, we put in some serious hours. These longshoremen put in about 100 hours a week. They are always on the clock, and it's never stopping. So there's a lot of things they just kind of leave out. And
Yep.
As of right now, the top paid longshoreman usually makes about $39 an hour. So that's what you're looking at. Now let's get into automation. And this is just a threat that we've been getting even in our industry and a lot of other industries. But what's the threat with automation over in the longshoremen's industry?
Well, having robotics, move the cranes, move the containers with the robotic cranes, and not having a person do that work, just having robots do it, having it automated. We talk about autonomous vehicles. Well, they want something like that, to move these containers and stack them up on the ships and all these kinds of things. That takes jobs. That takes away pension contributions, right? Because a robot is not going to, they're not going to contribute to his pension because he has none, right? And that's what employers want to do, and it's no different than UPS or any of the Teamster craft that we represent. They're all the same, right? And that's why it's important for us to stand in solidarity with our ILA brothers and sisters, because again, today is them. Tomorrow it could be a Teamster craft. So we need to make sure we support them.
So the other thing to touch on with this automation is, robots don't pay income taxes. They don't pay taxes at all. I mean, where's the buck stop with all this? And I think there's a lot to be said about that. I guess I just want to get into some quick facts that I pulled up real quick. So for you guys to know, 36 ports are affected by this from Maine to Texas, 47,000 dock workers. 14 of those ports create half of the country's container shipments. 60% of the country's containers trade is through these ports. Roughly about 1 week of strike can cause a slowdown up to mid-November. And, suppliers, usually they pre-order for this stuff as well. And, there is the 75% of bananas that are affected by this. That wasn't just a made-up thing. So this is going to be, as Rich said, I think short-term, maybe not that bad, but if they go on for 3 months like they did in 1977, absolutely. Rich, I appreciate you coming on. If you have not done so already, follow 623 Lives Matter on Facebook, Instagram, all social medias. Rich, is there anything else you'd like to add before we close out?
I would just make sure that we tell our members and people watching, don't cross picket lines. Listen, those members have made a sacrifice to let the company know that they are demanding more. And to me, there's nothing more sacred in labor than the picket or strike line. So we need to make sure that we honor their sacrifices by not crossing it.
Absolutely. And there's also a key in the board, non-deliver, and there's struck goods. You don't, you're covered under our contract by not crossing the picket line. So, and Don't let the management tell you. Talk to your steward or your business agent. So, anyways, Rich, appreciate you coming on. I hope to see you soon, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.
All right, man. Be good.